boom, boom. I mean, 30 houses in 90 days has been our track record.
Well, hey, my name is Russell 𝗀𝘀𝗆, and with me today, I've got a very, very special guest, a woman who has just taken the real estate industry by storm and is just getting some insane results. And it's an honor for me to work with her. And what you're going to hear in this video presentation, or not presentation, but just interview, is going to be eye-opening, especially if you're a realtor, if you're a broker, you're a real estate investor. This is absolutely for you. What she's doing is awesome. And this woman is hard to catch. She is rocking and rolling. She is very, very busy. And so 𝗖𝗍cie England, thank you so much and welcome to this video here. I am really excited. So let's dive in and hear what you're up to. So first off, can you share, if you don't mind, what your origin story is? How did you kind of get into this world of real estate, and kind of where you were before and where you are today?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Russell. I actually was in the Navy for 7 years and got out of the Navy, came back home. Unfortunately, I found myself in the restaurant industry for a bit. And then I decided, let me do something that's going to give me more time, freedom back, more time with my family. And I decided to go into real estate and get my real estate license. And as I was studying for my real estate license, I came across this, on YouTube University, there's everything, but I came across this guy talking about creative finance, and I was sold, completely sold, and thought, this is it. If I could ever find a way to make this work or pitch this to people, this is totally it. So I tried that for a while and got a lot of kind of negative pushback, or it was hard to overcome the objections. And it took me like 7 months of no income, no success, and no, all on my own, single mom, 3 kids. And I just stuck it out. And finally, I had a deal come through, and we did really well with that deal, used creative finance, subject to, it was an on-market listing with an agent. And then our next one followed right after, maybe 2 weeks after. So within those 2 deals, we made $100,000 profit off of those 2 deals, just working with agents and getting a property sold. And so then my wheels start turning. I joined a few communities and realized, wow, there's really an opportunity here if somebody approached it the right way. And how could we help agents in today's market?
Excellent, excellent. So you had stumbled upon some ways to use outside the box thinking through creative financing. Can you give an idea of like a example deal that you did with an agent or even without, but in 5th grader terms for all of us lay folks who are not familiar with how all that creative financing stuff works? Share real quick, like an ideal or an average deal that you're closing using creative seller financing, that those of us who may not be familiar with what you're doing, speak to a 5th grader. Give me an example deal of kind of like what you're doing that's different.
Yeah, sure. So during COVID, the Fed had rates at 0. So for a good 2.5 years there, people were getting anywhere from 2% to 4% interest rates on mortgages.
Yeah.
So most people were either buying or refinancing. And, a pretty cool statistic is only 14% of people applying for mortgages during that time were denied. And in today's market, 57% of people applying for a mortgage are being denied. So it definitely increased affordability when rates were so low. It allowed people to now afford those $400,000, $500,000 properties. So now fast forward 2, 3, 4 years later, and these houses are on the market. People usually stay in their house on average 5 to 7 years, but maybe for a job, whatever, active duty military, whatever the reason is, they now have their house on the market. They need to sell it. So unfortunately, it's not selling because houses went so high in price because rates were so low. The market is naturally going to adapt. And so what that did was that caused prices to go so high when rates were low. So now that rates have gone up, now the housing prices are coming down, but it's not been such an equal balance shift like it was before. So houses are just sitting and they're not selling. So agents aren't making any money because they're not able to sell these houses. It's not that the house isn't worth that. It's not that, we need to argue about value or any of those things. That's not even necessary. And matter of fact, I tell most people, I will never argue with you about the value of your home. It's just, how do we get that in today's market? So, and that's a pretty valuable conversation for an agent, because instead of them having to go back and say, oh, we've got to adjust price, we've got to adjust price. If the only skill set that you have in today's market as an agent is to reduce price, then it's time to go back to the drawing board, because there are other ways. You don't always have to reduce price. There are other solutions you could use. One of those solutions is creative finance. So with creative finance, there's a number of things. There's 100 different ways you can utilize creative finance. There doesn't always have to be a mortgage on the property. It could be completely owned outright. In which case the seller could become the bank through seller financing means. So they become the bank, they create a note. And the biggest objection we get with that is, well, I don't want to wait 30 years to get my money. And to that I say, well, okay, nobody does. I totally get it. Create that note and go sell it. You now have a mortgage note in hand. What is the mortgage company doing 6 months after you buy a home with a mortgage? They're usually selling it to another servicing company. Right. So you have that option if you're now the bank and you're selling it on seller finance. If there is a mortgage in place, we're targeting all those people that either did a refinance or a purchase during COVID. And we're targeting those houses that have like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, low rates, because we now want to turn around and offer that extremely low rate to an end buyer. And some of those properties are on market. So now if we can focus on agents specifically who have those properties as listings, and we can reach out to them and say, there is another way that you could sell your client's property. I've noticed that you've dropped the price 4 times in the last 6 months. What if you could go back to your original price or higher and sell it creatively? And it's taking us on average 45 days to get a property sold. We put one up in Houston and it sold in 35 days. So, I mean, we're talking like in real time, we have properties that we can show as proof of concept that are selling, just boom, boom, boom. I mean, 30 houses in 90 days has been our track record.
Hold on, tell me about that. That is insane. And now I already know, because you and I have been working together, but for those that have not heard this, you've gotten some pretty insane results with what you're doing in a very short amount of time, and with you being relatively new to the real estate industry. So if you could say it in a sentence or two, like what have you been able to do in that short time?
Yeah, great question. We just sort of hit the ground running, helping some people in our community out that had gotten into some deals that they didn't know how to handle. They were sub-2 deals and they needed to get them sold. And we literally used—
What is sub-2 for those who don't know?
So the sub-2 community is a mentorship community that's led by 𝗬𝘀𝘆𝑚orby. He's out of Arizona. There's like 14,000 members inside of that investment mentorship community. It's a pretty large investor community, and they do only creative finance. So they buy subject to the existing mortgage, seller finance, that sort of stuff.
Gotcha.
So all of these guys had gotten themselves into these sub-2 deals that they didn't know how to get out of, and they had just invested. They were just wanting to invest money and have it return something for them. And here they were now stuck with these houses, and they didn't know what to do. We literally used the most basic marketing strategies, a bandit sign and Facebook groups. And we got these properties sold in 90 days, 30 houses in 90 days, just boom, boom, boom. And just using an effective CRM and, a phone number for every property, we were able to track what gave us the biggest rate of success. And it was the bandit signs. Handwritten bandit signs allowed us to sell. It was an 89% accuracy rating with bandit signs.
Interesting. interesting. Why do you think bandit signs seem to do better than any other thing? Why do you think that was better?
Well, so we knew right away when these houses were purchased in the beginning, they were purchased on market. So they were on market listings that weren't selling, which was why the seller was willing to do sub two. So if they didn't sell on the market the first time, they're not going to sell on the market 6 months later when we
Right.
put it on market. So I'm like, we can cross out that strategy. That's not going to work. If we could somehow make it seem like this is for sale from an owner to an owner, because everything going on with the NAR lawsuit, and like, believe me, if you're an agent and you're seeing this, like, I get it. We blame NAR too. NAR's
Right.
totally thrown you under the bus, totally rolled over backwards and went forwards again. And we blame NAR too. So because of NAR, there's become this lack of trust for realtors and brokers. So people are really wanting to go after the things they see that are owner to owner, and we see more of that. We see more more of a craving to deal with owner to owner. And like one of our properties, we got 100 phone calls a day on that property. I mean,
So
it's like really
no
blowing up.
other advertising other than Facebook group and bandit signs being kind of the clear winner and generating that kind of leads for you. So it was just like they're eating candy out of your hand. I mean, it was that easy.
Yes, no paid marketing. We have not. I think we have $50 in marketing costs.
So I used to be a realtor, and I've shared with you in the past, but for everybody else, that for me to work with an investor was like taboo. That's what it was. I didn't. I like talking about the elephants in the room because I know there's realtors that will watch this and will go, they'll think they will be told what I was told. And I later became an investor because I woke up to the idea that there was so much more opportunity for me to close deals that I just wasn't aware of and that my broker wasn't talking about. Can you talk to that fear, that concern that a realtor has? If I do your creative financing, I might lose my license or I might risk my reputation with the seller, et cetera, et cetera. Can you share on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So we get that a lot too in the beginning. Building the relationship with agents is like, oh, I was told not to go this route, or you're going to cut me out of the picture. Or, we see a lot of quote unquote gatekeeping from agents. And we just reassure them, like, listen, I don't know who you've ever worked with before as investors. And everyone's different, right? Like, there's good and there's bad to wholesalers and investors and agents. There's good and there's bad. But what we do is we come in and we partner with an agent. So right out the gate, we're going to do a joint venture agreement that goes to title, so that they know they're protected in the deal and they have money coming to them when this deal closes. So we truly just want to partner with the agent, because the more agents who know how to do this in the market, then the easier it's going to be to bring buyers to these sort of deals. So already it might seem like a scam, or it might seem like too good to be true, or, but maybe everyone thought that about Zillow and Redfin when it first came out. Like, what? We get to see what's on MLS and we're not a licensed agent. So I think, just changing with the times, things always come out like too good to be true. But if it stands the test of time and it works, and so far for us it has, like, every time we turn around we have another success story, another property sold. So we're partnering with a couple of agents right now. We have more reaching out to us because they're just hearing about us through word of mouth. But our goal is to partner with agents. That's our one and only goal in doing this, is to partner with them.
So now another fear that I had, as first of all, thank you. That's helpful. And I think the other question that I have, that I used to have, and that I think a lot of other agents would have is, well, hey, Ashley, if I work with you, aren't you just gonna send my seller a super low ball offer, make everything uncomfortable, make me look stupid in front of my, isn't that how you make these deals work?
So actually, no. Your seller's not going to get a low ball offer. Matter of fact, they're able to get more than their property is evaluated for. So most of the properties we work with, they've already been on this cycle of reducing price, reducing price, reducing price. So we actually take the price back up to their original price and sometimes higher, so that we can help that seller get that property sold creatively. So if we go the creative route, we now have a way through, for example, a lease option. In a lease option process, there's 4 ways to get paid in a lease option. You can get paid in the option fee, in the lease period, the cash flow during the lease period, the down payment on the purchase, and a note in second position on the property once it's sold. So in a particular situation, just to give you an example, we have a property in Houston. This guy's been trying to sell for over 6 months. He's reduced the price all the way down to like $439. We've taken the price back up to $550, and we're asking for a $25,000 option fee, and the agent gets paid half of that option fee. So she's not capturing 3% of the 550, but she's capturing more than the $300 she would have made in a referral fee, taking it to a property management company, which was where they were headed. She was literally turning it over to a property management company when we came in contact with her.
I think agents don't realize just how much they can benefit their seller, they can benefit the investor, and they can benefit themselves. So it's truly a win-win-win. And when they hear creative financing, they might think, oh, creative sounds like it's some kind of a shady tactic. I think a better term would be sophisticated financing. I think what you've described, those 4 different ways, are just outside the vanilla color, flavor that most agents are taught by their brokers. I held my license with Keller Williams. Gary Keller wrote a book on creative financing. I mean, this is not new, right? This has been around for a long time. It's just not, yeah. So it's just not something it's talked about a lot. So absolutely, agents can do it without risking their license. They can do it without insulting their seller clients with insulting lowball offers. They can get deals closed that they otherwise would not, that they would probably lose, right?
Absolutely. It's all safe, secure, and a way for them to make money in today's market and solve their client's problem.
So this has been awesome, and I really appreciate you sharing this. I remember when we first met and when you talked about this, I was like, oh my goodness, this is huge. And I know that realtors, agents across the US could use this, but they just don't know. And what they do know of working with investors usually has got a negative connotation. So I feel comfortable about doing this interview with you. You've been great, and about putting kind of my name, out there as well with it, because I just know what you're doing works. And I know it's much needed in the marketplace, because I know realtors, I know a lot of them that struggle, especially after NARS and just even before that. So how can people get a hold of you? What do you got going on? Like, what are you doing lately? How can they learn what you're doing?
So we joke about this a lot, but it's totally true. We are building the car as we drive down the road. And so part of that, and a lot of that's great, because we're learning at such a rapid pace, and we're able to do so much with so many people. And but yeah, the business is Stellar Home Solutions, and I dropped a QR code in the chat. So if you want to put that out somewhere, that's a great way for people to just fill their information out, and we'll contact you to see what you're maybe interested in, whether you have a deal going bad or going south that you need our help with. That's what we like to call real estate rescue. Or if you have a deal that's not selling on the market and there's a mortgage on it, and you think your seller might be open to doing a lease option. If you're going to put it on the rental market, what do you have to lose? All we're going to do is market that area and see what that area could perform at with an option fee. So you really have nothing to lose to get it out there and start marketing the property this way anyways. And now you have an opportunity to make more money as an agent on it. So if you just fill out your information, that comes back into our system, and you will get on a one-on-one call with either myself or my business partner, and we can talk with you or strategize with you on a property you might have, or answer any questions you might have.
Awesome. And I'll definitely make sure to put links and QR codes and all that below this somewhere, or buttons. so folks can get in touch with you. Thank you so much, Ashley England. I'm excited about this, and I'm excited for you and also for all the agents out there and sellers that are going to actually get help instead of having their listing go to the listing graveyard as they miss out on what could have been. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Russell.
You got it.